This project is inspired by and a tribute to Asagi Electric's Mini Centurion. I don't have the room for a big beefy recreation of the original project, so I set out to make a miniature, or I guess a micro version of the Centurion Mini. As you see, I'm just building up layers in Fusion. As I went along, I would modify the pieces so that they would fit together better once I had the real printed out pieces in my hands. And I had designed this to use the Hawk drive because it was the most authentic way to make it look. But I also did render the Phoenix drive, and you can pull the drawer out and swap them. At least that was my intent. You can't, the real 3D model you can. And here, as I began to start printing things, I had a temporary drawer, but everything's white. But you can see here everything printed out okay, I guess. And then I started to paint with the best color match I could come up with. But this wouldn't be authentic without wood, so I got some walnut plywood and started cutting them pieces out to fit. So the front, the top, and then the left and right are all walnut plywood. Then I started gluing everything together, and once I started having things in place, I was staining the wood. I painted the sides in kind of beige to match what David had done. And then here I started wiring up a board with LEDs for the front panel. I used green at first because I only had a handful of red and I didn't want to mess up. My soldering isn't the best, but I have a couple resistors and then individual plugs for each of the LEDs, which are the Raspberry Pi's power and activity light. And then I have a USB to RS-232 adapter, which I soldered directly to the three LEDs on there, the link, transfer, and receive lights. And once I was comfortable, I redid it with the red LEDs. Then here we have a USB hub and the USB to RS-232 adapter. We have a micro USB and a regular USB panel mount in the back for power and additional USB if needed. And couldn't be left without the terminal that goes with it, so I just created a little decorative piece to sit on top. It's just LEDs and a little screen there so it can sit on top and light up. Now you might ask, what can you do with this? Well, at the moment I don't know. I'm trying to connect to it over serial and it's sort of working, but I can't get the prompt. I did at one point. But here over SSH I can run the Centurion emulator. Well, it errors out. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing with it. But in part 2 I will continue trying to do different things with the Centurion emulator or getting a better serial connection. But yeah, thanks for watching.